Hello everyone. Today I am giving my presentation Kali Linux penetration testing and ethical hacking Linux distribution. Myself Madhury Prabhadash, my ID 2210320003, my batch 27, my course name operating system concept. I am presenting this presentation to our honorable teacher Isma Siddiqui Imam Sir, LTO Fen University. Table of contents. An overview of Kali Linux, introduction of penetration testing, features of Kali Linux system requirements, Kali throughout, Kali Linux security service, advantage and disadvantage of Kali Linux. An overview of Kali Linux. Kali Linux is security-focused Linux distribution based on Debian. It's a rebranded version of famous Linux distribution known as Backtrack, which comes with a huge repository of open source hacking tools for network, wireless, and web application penetration testing. Although Kali Linux contains most of the tools from Backtrack, the main aim of Kali Linux is to make it portable so that it can be installed on devices based on the ARM architecture such as tablets and Chromebook, which makes the tools available at your disposal with much ease. Introduction to penetration testing. Penetration testing or ethical hacking is a proactive way of testing your web applications by simulating an attack that's similar to a real attack that would occur on any given day. We will use the tools provided in Kali Linux to accomplish this. Kali Linux is the rebranded version of Backtrack and is now based on Debian-derived Linux distribution. It comes pre-installed with a large list of popular hacking tools that are ready to use with all frequencies installed. We will delve deep into the tools that would help pen test web applications and also attack websites in a lab vulnerable to major flaws found in real-world web applications. Features of Kali Linux. The following are the features of Kali Linux. ARMEL and ARMHF supports, multi-language support, full customization of Kali ISO, live USB boot, Kali Net Hunter, over 600 penetration testing tools pre-installed, developed in a secure environment, free and always will be, wide-ranging wireless device support, customer kernel patched for injection, GPG signed packages and repositories, a trustable operating system, forensic mode, Kali Linux full disk encryption, Kali Linux meta packages, Kali Linux accessibility features. ARMEL and ARMHF supports. Since ARM-based signal board systems such as Raspberry Pi and Bengal Bone Black, among others, are becoming more and more prevalent and cheap, we know that Kali's ARM support need to be as robust as possible, with completely working installations for both ARMEL and ARMHF systems. Multilanguage support. Although penetration tools are written in English, we've ensured that Kali comprises true multilingual support, permitting more users to work in their local language and locate the required tools. Full customization of Kali ISOs. It is always easy to generate a customized version of Kali for our specific needs using meta packages customized to a security professionals specific need sets and a highly assembly ISO customization process. Kali Linux is heavily integrated with libbuild, giving us a lot of flexibility in customizing and modifying our Kali Linux ISO images. Live USB boot. This enables us to install Kali on a USB device and boot it without having to touch the host operating system. With optional persistence values, we can choose which file system Kali will use then it starts up, allowing files to be saved across sessions and numbers profiles to be created. Every persistent value can be encrypted, which is a functionality that our industry requires. We also offer the Lux Nuke options, which always us to regulate data destruction quickly. Kali Net Hunter, Kali on our phone. This includes a ROM overlay for many device and the NetHunter app and NetHunter app store. On top of this, we can also boot into a full desktop with the help of chroot and containers, as well as Kali Hunter desktop experience. Over 600 penetration testing tools pre-installed. Kali Linux comprises more than 600 useful tools such as Crack, Aircraft, NG, Wireshark, and NEP. After analyzing each tool's featured in Blackjack, Kali deleted many tools that either didn't operate or duplicated other tools that offered similar functionality. Developed in secured environment, the Kalinux theme consists of a small group of people who are the only ones allowed to commit packages and communicate with repositories, all of which is done through several secure protocols. Free and always will be. Like Backtrack, Kalinex is and always will be absolutely free. We will never ever have to pay for Kalinex. With ranging wireless device support. A regular stacking point with Linux distributions has been supported for wireless interfaces. Kali Linux is designed to work with as many wireless devices as possible, enabling it to run on a wide range of hardware and connect with various USB and other wireless devices. Custom kernel patches for injection. The development team often needs to perform wireless accessibility as penetration testers, so the kernel includes the latest injection patches. GPG sensed packages and repositories. In Kali Linux, each package is sent by each developer who built and committed it, and the repositories subsequently sign the packages as well. A trustable operating system. Users of a security distribution want to know that it can be trusted and has been developed with a clear version, permitting anybody to inspect the source code. Kali Linux is developed by a small group of skilled developers who operate transparently and follow best security practices. They upload sent source packages that are built on a dedicated build domain. After that, the packages are checked for integrity and distributed as part of Sense repository. Francis mode. In general, when we are performing process work on a system, we would avoid doing anything that can change the data on the analyzed system in any manner. However, modern desktop environments tend to obstruct this goal by attempting to automate any disk they identify. Kali Linux offers a Francis mode that may be able from the boot menu to prevent this behavior. It disables all such functions. Kali Linux full disk encryption. Kali Linux uses full disk encryption, the ability to encrypt the whole hard drive of our critical penetration testing computer drive is a vertical future needed in the industry. Kali Linux meta packages. Mastering Kali Linux toolsets with Kali meta packages Kali includes a number of meta packages collections that can be in various toolsets. This makes it simple to get custom minimized environments set up. For example, we can apt get install Kali Linux wireless if all we need is some wireless utilities for an impending invaluation. Kali Linux accessibility features. These features is mainly for visually impaired users. Kali is one of the few Linux distributions that included both voice feedback and braille hardware support for blind or visually impaired users. Kali Linux system requirements. Kali develops don't give us much official information about recommended system specifications, using the limited information they give us and filling in the rest of the graphs ourselves. The following is a list of recommended system requirements for running Kali with the difficult access desktop environment and Kali Linux difficult meta packages which contains all the most common tools. 2 GB of RAM, 20 GB of disk space, 32 or 62-bit CPU with 2 GHz speed or better, high definition graphics and monitor, broadband internet connection. Full Linux kernel, Kali Linux kernel map, containers, WSL, cloud, USB, mobile, RAM. What is Kali Linux? Kali Linux is an open source, Debian based Linux distribution aimed at advanced penetration testing and security editing. It does this by providing common tools, configurations, and automation which allows the user to focus on the tasks that needs to be completed, not the surrounding activity. Why use Kali Linux? Kali Linux is not only a free, contained, and highly scored Linux OS, but also includes over 600 tools for information security. Why hackers use Kali Linux? New technologies are rapidly allowing us to transfer kernel data over the internet. Therefore, hacking was become so much more people and common nowadays. Ethical hackings do white hat hacking to find and repair the vulnerabilities of the system, which increase the security of the systems. On the other side, black hat hacking is used for breaching the system and accessing the system with no permission. If you are familiar with hacking, you must have heard to Kali Linux. Kali Linux protects your privacy. Kali Linux is one of the best secure distro for developers. This OS can also be booted as a USB stick and live DVD just like Tails. It does not leave any evidence of footprints after the user is used that would cause an information breach. Kali Linux is legal globally. Kali Linux is mainly used for professional tasks like white hat hacking and penetration testing. However, there is a massive difference between white hat hacking and black hat hacking. If you engage in black hat hacking, it is undoubtedly illegal and many lead of problems. Works well at minimum system requirements. Undoubtedly, Kali Linux requires low-end components to work perfectly. You can also easily set up this OS in your system because it needs less effort to install. There is the last of the suitable configuration for the system to run Kali Linux smoothly. Hardware specifications. RAM 2 GB recommended, minimum 1 GB. Processor i386 microprocessor or AMD 64 architecture. Space store 20 GB disk space. Kali Linux is future rich. Kali Linux is not only a free, convenient, and highly scored Linux OS but also includes over 600 tools for information security. Basic Linux kernel. User application, GNUC library, system call interface, kernel, hardware platform. Linux Ubiquity. Kali Linux Security Service. 21 best Kali Linux tools for hacking and penetration testing. Some details of theme. Nmap, Linux, WPS scan, Aircrack NG, Hydra, Wireshark, Metasploit, Sheepfish, Multigo, Nisas, Browser Scanner, BEF, APK tool, SQL map, John the Ripper, Snort, Autosfee forensic browser, King Spicer, Nikoto, Yersinia, social engineering toolkit. Advantage and disadvantage of Kali Linux. The following are the advantages of Kali Linux. More than 600 penetration tools included, open development tree, multiple language support, free and always will be, web ranking, wireless device support. More than 600 penetration tool including. In Kali Linux, there are more than 600 penetration testing tools, all the which are designed to make it easier of network security teams to access of security of their networks. Adherence to file system hierarchy standard. This is a vital point. All systems which adhere to the file system hierarchy standard permit the user of file support files, banners, and even libraries to name just some of them. Open development tree. The ability of open source software marks many Linux products great, and Kali Linux is no exception. As a result, anyone can inspect the codes and gain easy access to the system. Multiple language support. Although most penetration tools are written in English, but Kali was complete multilingual support, allowing more people to work in their local language and find the tools they require. Completely customizable. It was always easy to generate the customized version of Kali for our particular requirements using meta packages to a security professional specific requirement set and a highly assembly ISO customization process. Free and always will be. Like Backtrack, Kali Linux is and always will be absolutely free. Kali Linux will never ever cost us anything. Wide ranging wireless drive support. Support for wireless connection has long been a regular stacking point for Linux distributions. Disadvantages of Kali Linux. There are various disadvantages of Kali Linux. Kali Linux is a little bit slower. In Kali Linux, few software many malfunctions. It is not advised for individual who are new to Linux and wish to learn the operating system. Kali Linux penetration testing. Mastering the terminal window. Kali Linux can be summarized two simple words: terminal window. If you master the terminal window skill, then you will be one of those elite ethical hackers. If you chapter, you will learn to all the essentials of the terminal window, so you can start using Kali Linux like a boss. Base scripting. In the previous chapter, you learned lots of commands in Linux. Now let's take your skills to the next level in the command line tools. In this chapter, you will see how to create script commands using base based on the what you have learned so far. Network host scanning. This chapter is your first step into the penetration testing workflow. There are your advanced Aura novice. This chapter will help you conduct your network scan with success. Internet information gathering. Never underestimate the importance of the information gathering phase in penetration testing. I admit that I used to underestimate in myself, but over the years I have realized how detailed this phase can be. Social engineering attacks. Social engineering is the term used for a broad running of malicious activities accomplished through human interactions. Advanced enumeration phase. In this chapter, you will learn how to handle the enumeration phase in a penetration testing engagement. Enumeration in our discussion menu, collecting the necessary information that will allow us to exploit the specific service. Exploitation phase. In this chapter, you will start seeing some actual attacks and get inside the systems. In the previous chapter, you had all the information about each service. And in this one, we will talk this step further and exploit the vulnerabilities. Web application vulnerabilities. In this chapter, you will learn the basic of the application vulnerabilities. Application security is a category of itself, and since we would need a whole book to cover all the application security topics, we will use this chapter to cover just the most obvious ones. Web penetration testing and secure software development lifecycle. This topic deserves a chapter by itself because of its importance. These days, most companies have a website or a web application portal that brings in fronts. In this chapter, you will mainly learn about to the methodology of web application penetration testing and how to use Proofsuite Pro Edition. Linux privilege acceleration. At this stage, you already have a limited cell and you would like to go beyond that and get a root cell state. Root access allow you to manipulate the system the way you want and probably will give you a new path to another host. This chapter focus mainly on the Linux operating system privilege acceleration. Windows privilege escalation. As you know, the Microsoft Windows operating system is popular among individual users and companies for their employers. There is a lot to cover about privilege escalation on the Windows OS, and as usual, all the except are explained through examples. Pivoting and literal moment. A common practice in literal moment is to look for stored passwords and hashes after establishing remote access to the victim's host. Cryptography and hash cracking. One of the best topics in the cybersecurity field in cracking passwords. It's a special feeling of happiness when you get a cell or crack a password. Reporting. Reporting is a process of classifying attributes. Some of the earliest arithmetic children are taught it is how to classify objects. Assembly language and reverse engineering. This chapter will introduce you to the concept of reverse engineering using the assembly language. You will learn about the basic of the assembly language, including registers, assembly instructions, memory segments, and much more. Stack Overflow. In the previous chapter, you learned about the assembly instructions. This chapter will use what you have learned previously to exploit the stack using the buffer overflow technique. Programming with Python. This chapter focuses on the automation of the penetration testing rehashes using the Python language. You will see a complete practical example what can use in your career. Pen test automation with Python. This chapter will focus on how to take a simple idea and then implement it in Python. In this chapter, we will work through how to take an automation idea and use it as a penetration tester. Here are some workings of Kali Linux download. Kali Linux boot menu. These are some tools of Kali Linux. Thank you all for listening to me.